So my last video, the indoor planters, got me thinking I'd like to make an outdoor planter. I don't just want to do a square plain one like everybody's doing. I want to do a piece which is a bit decorative. So I've chosen the wheelbarrow. And yes, I know these have been done before, but I'm going to make them with just basic tools and free wood. Basic tools are a jigsaw, a sander, and a screwdriver and a drill combo. Let's get building. Right, the free wood. Don't worry, there looks to be lots here. You're not going to be using all of this. What I've got is some offcuts of pallet wood from previous jobs, 4 or 5 full lengths of various thickness pallet wood, 3 lengths of treated timber left over from the garage fit out. This was in the loft space when we fitted out the garage. It's just a piece of old rough sawn 2x2 and half a broomstick. I don't even think any of Harry Potter's lot could make that fly.
Shut up, Harry.
So what we're going to do is we're going to measure in 60 centimetres. And then we're going to straight edge across that. Then we'll take our jigsaw. And try to get a fairly neat line. It's not too important that it's perfect. As close as you can get it is good. And then just measure it up. Scribe a line. Put your longest piece on your workbench. And there we go. That's one side done. I'm going to repeat the process now and get another 2 boards of this length. Both sides done. You want to make sure that the timber you're using from the front and the back is the same width as the sides. I've got various thicknesses and widths of boards, so I'm just making sure that they're within a few millimetres of the same thickness and width. So we want our planters to be roughly 40 centimetres across. So we'll take the thickness of our boards. This is just over 2 centimetres, so I'm going to call it 2 centimetres just for the sake of it. So that means we're going to take 4 centimetres off of the width of our cut. So we want 36 centimetres for the front and back boards. That's going to put it right on the nails. So I'm going to go from the other end, measure 36. Mark across and do 4 cuts like that. As you can see, my boards are not square. That's absolutely fine. It's a rustic piece and they don't have to be perfect. So what I'm thinking is I've got one of the wider pieces here, and if I angle this, it'll just give us more of a wheelbarrow shape, and it'll also leave extra room for the wheel at the front. So you're about to see me cut at an angle with the jigsaw. To do that with this jigsaw, you open the lever, adjust the plate, close the lever, and then you can make your cut at the angle. Most modern jigsaws allow you to do this, but the methods to do so vary. One common one is 1 or 2 bolts that you would open with an Allen key, adjust your plate, close the bolts back up, and then make your cut. But you're going to have to find out your method for your jigsaw. If you're enjoying the video and you'd like to support the channel, please hit the like button. It's the only way small channels like this can get their videos promoted, and it really does help us out. Thank you. So what we'll do, mark that there. It's not a huge difference, but it'll add a little bit of interest, I think. I'm not going to bother with the bottom bit. That's just going to be, it's not going to be seen. This is just so that the top piece can sit nicely in between and sit flush. It's not going to be exact, but it'll go in. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll glue this bottom bit up, screw them together, and then put the top on and see how we go from there. I'm just going to pre-drill these to avoid splitting, but I've got to watch for the nails in the pallet wood at the edge. Now I could countersink these, but I'm just going to drive them in and just embed them. So now that I've worked out the basics of what I want to do, I'm going to take it apart again, give it some glue to give it some added strength, and then put it together and assemble the top part on, and then we'll go on to the base. So now what we need is a way to connect the bottom row to the top row. So we're going to use some corner pieces, and obviously now this has got a slope in, the corner piece is going to have to come in slightly, but it will still be okay. We can screw them to the sides. As long as these sides are connected, we can screw through to the front piece. Now we can put the sides on. So I'm just deciding what to do with the bottom. I think what I'm going to go for is I'm going to go for a few gaps so that I'm not having to cut a full length strip. And the reason for that is this pot is going to have to be polythene lined anyway. This wood is only heat treated, not chemically treated, so it wouldn't last very long if the soil was just all up against it. So when I polythene line it, I might put a little layer of shingle at the bottom and put some holes in the polythene where the gaps are in the wood, and that's going to create me a nice little drainage area. starting to get quite weighty now. We definitely need to get the handles on. So I'm just planning out the handles. I think I'm going to have them coming up from about the front somewhere, and I think what I've drawn here should work. What I might do is refine that shape a bit with the sander before I decide whether to cut the other piece. So it's going to be like that. And that looks quite smart. I've got to knock down that end I want to avoid, and got a bit of stain in there that I don't know how deep it goes. Now we need to think about the wheel. I'm thinking 2 pieces screwed from from the underside, wheel in the middle, this is going to be holding the weight at the front of the planter. If I used the 2x2s, I'd be cutting away so much material to put the axle through. I think it would be so weak, any weight in here could just snap the 2x2. So I think this is a better material for it. Might have to cheat a bit. I do have, this is also leftover material. It's from the cabinet builds. I mean, it's not finished yet, but to be fair, it'd still count as, even if I was to use this, it would still only be £2 worth of material, absolute tops. This would be better, I think. I think the other stuff's far too chunky, far too thick. Yeah. We'll go with this. 2 lengths of this. We want to come out enough to put the wheel on. It's only going to be a fairly small wheel, and I've got to make that yet. The way I'm thinking of making the wheel while we're on the subject, because we've got no fancy machinery, I'm thinking take a couple of offcuts. We can't joint them. Never be strong enough with a jointed edge from a jigsaw. So what I'm thinking as an idea, if I've got another piece of scrap down there, roughly that size, that'll do. Cut the circle out, cut the circle out of there, cut the same circle out of there, screw them together. Should give us plenty of strength, a nice thick wheel for strength as well. Glue them together, and I think that'll work great. Using the slightly wider boards, So I found a 32mm spade bit. I don't know if it's going to have the power to go through. These drills are really old now. I'm just going to I'm not worried about whether it's perfectly centered. Just going to give it a rough guess with that. And we'll try it. Good job, it's rustic. Let's cut these down to the 80 centimeters. Get them fixed on. I'll get them drilled on the end, get them shaped, get them drilled, and then we'll get the wheel on. And then it's just cleanup time. Okay, before I go too much further, I think I'm going to shape these straight away. But I'm going to sand everything down before it becomes too much of a pain and having to sand around a lot of things. So I'm going to give it a quick sand. You don't need to see that. I'll turn the film off for this bit, crack on, and I'll come back when it's done. I'm going to go through from this side, somewhere around the middle. Down from the outside. I'm just sinking them in. That's number one. And we'll do the same again. So I'm putting them so they go, just poke out the other side. A bit too much. Top and bottom. And then I can take the piece, offer it up to the center. And then just drive it in. So I'm going to leave a fair amount hanging over, and I'm going to drill through, put a couple of dowels through, I think, just to stop it moving off completely. Something like that. It's only decorative, but it works. And there. Then I'm going to put it into the drill. All that we got left to do now is the legs to raise it off the ground. I think I'm going to use this treated timber I had, and I'll just mark these up. Have them like that, I think. I'll do the same on the other side. And there's our barrow. I'm going to put a dark brown stain on. I've gone for a natural oak stain. I'm going to brush that on now, get it lined, and get some plants in it. You don't need to see me putting all this on. I'll finish this up and then we'll come back when it's done. That's the stain done. I'm going to try a new top coat for me. It's called Prime Home & Gardens Pro Clear Lacquer. Touch dry in 20 to 30 minutes and recoated in 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to apply 2 coats overnight, let it dry, and then we'll come back tomorrow, see how it looks. I'm going to do all of this off camera, obviously. You don't want to stay here for 12 hours. And there's my scrap wood wheelbarrow planter, all finished, in situ, and planted up. I think it looks great. I'm not the world's best gardener. The wife's better than me, and she would have made it look a lot better with the planting, but she's at work today. If you've liked the video, please do hit the like button. As I mentioned earlier, it really helps small channels like mine. I'm going to list a playlist above with all of my woodworking projects.